Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. So by now I'm sure you've all seen the news that a Russian ship, the Moskva, was sunk the other day. So it was either by an ammunition explosion or a missile, depending on which source you believe. Either way, the ship is out of action. Russia claims a fire ignited the ammo on board. Ukraine claims it distracted the ship with a TB2 drone and then launched a pair of Neptune missiles at it. So in this video, I thought it would be interesting to take a look at the Black Sea Fleet, and we can see just what ships Russia has left and which ships are available, as some of them are deployed elsewhere or are currently being refitted. So the Moskva was the flagship of the fleet and the largest ship. She was a Slava-class guided missile cruiser with a displacement of 12,490 tons. So, a very large vessel. By comparison, the Royal Navy's Daring-class destroyers are 8,500 tons. So with the Moskva out of action, what else does the Black Sea Fleet have? Well, quite a lot. The Black Sea Fleet consists of 77 combat ships of various classes. This includes surface and subsurface ships and submarines, and 11 auxiliary and hydrographic survey ships. So it's bigger, in terms of numbers at least, than many other countries' navies. So quite a sizable force is available to them. But while the size of the Black Sea Fleet certainly seems impressive, many of that number includes smaller and lighter ships. As mentioned, the Moskva was the biggest warship in the fleet. The second largest is the Admiral Grigorovich frigate at 3,600 tons, so about comparable to the French Lafayette class frigate, but smaller than frigate classes used elsewhere, like the British Type 26s, which are under construction. So looking at numbers, the Black Sea Fleet is split into 13 brigades, divisions or squadrons. The first we're going to look at is the 30th Surface Ship Squadron, of which the Moskva was a part of. So with the Moskva now sunk, this now consists of 2 Krivak-class guided missile frigates and 3 Admiral Grigorovich-class guided missile frigates. The Ladny and Pietlivy, while both being of the same Krivak class, carry different armaments. The Ladny is armed with 4 surface-to-surface / anti-ship missiles and 2 SAM launchers. The Pietlivy carries 4 anti-submarine missiles and 4 SAM launchers. It also has 2 Smerch 2 anti-submarine rockets and 8 torpedo tubes. So these are pretty much focused on the anti-shipping, anti-submarine role. The next class, the Admiral Grigorovich class, there are 3 ships, the Grigorovich, the Essen and the Makarov. Now these are more of a threat to the Ukraine mainland. These have the same armament, each ship, consisting of 8 cells for various anti-ship and cruise missiles, including the Kalibr, which has been used in Ukraine. We've seen videos of it firing. It also has 24 cells for SAM missiles. So, although smaller than some navies' frigates, these are quite capable ships which carry quite a punch. So, of the 2 frigates of this squadron, the Grigorovich class looks to be the better armed class of ship and the bigger threat. So now 2 of them are currently unavailable for the war in Ukraine. The Grigorovich is currently deployed in the Mediterranean, and the Pietlivy is currently undergoing maintenance. So now with the Moskva out of commission, the surface warfare fleet currently available for Ukraine consists of the Ladny, the Essen and the Makarov. The Essen was incidentally claimed to have been hit by a Ukraine missile a couple of weeks ago, but that hasn't been confirmed. But as you can see, losing the Moskva is a pretty big blow to Russia that's hit their capabilities, their surface capabilities, quite hard. So next there is the 4th Independent Submarine Brigade. This consists of 1 Kilo class submarine from the 80s, which is currently undergoing maintenance, and 6 improved Kilos. These are designed for anti-shipping and anti-submarine operations in shallow waters, and typically carry 18 torpedoes. Some variants are capable of launching Caliber cruise missiles. So these are interesting because while Russia's been using its large surface ships, these can still be used in a sort of blockade of the Ukrainian coast if needs be. Say Russia pulls its surface ships back out of harm's way, I would expect to see these Kilo submarines used to sort of blockade the waters as a deterrent against any aid coming into the Ukraine coast or any amphibious operations, as I am not sure if the Neptune can hit submarines or if Ukraine has any anti-submarine capabilities that will be able to hit the Kilo. So assuming Russia pulls its fleet back, I can kind of envision the Kilos being used in a greater role. So of the improved Kilos, 1, the Kolpino, is undergoing maintenance, and 2, the Krasnodar and Novorossiysk are deployed in the Mediterranean. 3 others are active, but only 1, the Rostov-na-Dono, is actually confirmed to be in the Black Sea. But with them being submarines and difficult to detect, there's a high chance that the others are also on patrol. So next we come to the 197th Assault Ship Brigade. This was hit a few weeks ago by Ukraine, with the Saratov damaged in an attack, and the Caesar Kunikov and Novocherkassk confirmed as damaged. So that hit Russia's landing capabilities hard, putting 3 ships out of commission, 1 totally destroyed, leaving 4 currently available: the Nikolai Filchenkov, the Orsk, and the Azov, and the Yamal. Now this isn't it for amphibious vessels operated by Russia. While not part of a Black Sea fleet, they have diverted some ships from other fleets. So 5 Rapucha-class vessels have been diverted from the Baltic Fleet, from the Northern Fleet 2 Rapucha-class vessels, and an Ivan Gren-class vessel. So Russia does still have a fairly substantial amount of amphibious warfare and landing vessels available, despite 3 being out of action. There are also 2 Project 02510 landing craft, which are small, light, fast ships designed for use with Russia's special forces. So, with Ukraine demonstrating that it can sink Russian ships with a Neptune and with Harpoon missiles on its way, can Russia afford to deploy these landing ships on landing operations now? I'd say the success of Ukraine in striking naval targets has effectively neutralized the threat from these amphibious warfare and landing ships. It just seems too risky to use them. So let's move on to the rest of the Black Sea Fleet. The rest of it consists of much smaller vessels, corvettes, patrol boats and the like, designed mainly for use around the Russian coast and for defence and protection. So first there's the 149th Anti-Submarine Task Force, consisting of 3 Grisha-class corvettes. These pack quite a punch, carrying 96 anti-submarine rockets. These, as the name suggests, carry out an anti-submarine role along the coast. Then there is the 150th Minesweeper Task Force, consisting of 6 vessels, the Natya 1 class, or Natya the First class rather, and the Alexandrite class. Coastal defence is carried out by the 184th. These operate some 3 Grisha 3 class anti-submarine ships, which we've mentioned, and 4 Project 22160, which are quite new ships, with the first entering service in 2018. They are at the moment armed mainly with guns and grenade launchers, though it is modular and can be outfitted with caliber missiles too. So with these 3 Grisha-class ships, the Black Sea Squadron is very well equipped for the anti-submarine warfare role. These are well-armed ships, but they're not going to be much use in the current war as Ukraine doesn't operate any submarines. So now another coastal defence squadron is the 102nd Anti-Sabotage Squadron. This has 3 Grachonok ships weighing just over 100 tons and 3 Raptor-class ships of 26 tons. One Raptor was confirmed hit by a Ukraine anti-tank missile, but it wasn't destroyed, so they are quite sturdy. And finally, 2 Flamingo-class ships, which are small patrol boats. Then there's the 41st Missile Boat Brigade, consisting of 6 corvettes from the Buyan M class and from the Bora class. The Bora is the largest of the two at over 1,000 tons. Other missile boats can be found in the 295th Missile Boat Division, made of 5 Tarantul-class corvettes. Now, the corvettes in these 2 divisions carry a mixture of anti-ship and anti-air missiles. They are defensive ships, and since Ukraine's navy is small and currently confined to bases, they're not going to be all that useful in the war. So now the 170th Minesweeper Division. This has 3 seagoing minesweepers and 2 Sonya-class base minesweepers. It is unknown if the 2 Sonyas are actually active or not. The 170th is also outfitted with 3 small landing craft. The 136th is another anti-sabotage squadron, consisting of the Grachonok, 3 of these, and our old friend the Raptor. These carry out coastal duties in and around Russian bases looking for saboteurs and terrorists, and I assume special forces operations, so it's unlikely we will see these anywhere near Ukraine. Finally, of the combat type ships, we have the secretive 519th, who are tasked with intelligence gathering. There are 2 MoMA-class ships. These are electronic intelligence gathering ships and carry 16 Strela missiles for defense. The larger intelligence ships is the Vishna-class. This is from the 1970s. It was designed for signals intelligence gathering and is armed with SAMs for defense. Ships of this class have been seen operating near the US before. Finally, there is 1 Yuri Ivanov ship used for providing communication. And finally, the auxiliary vessels. So the Black Sea Fleet operates 5 oilers. Interestingly, the Istra is a Dora-class oiler which has been in service since 1942. It was transferred from Nazi Germany after the war. So it's pretty interesting that a relic from World War II is still operating. It's not the only World War II ship operational. Incidentally, the Brazilian Navy still operates the River Monitor Parnaíba, which is from the 1930s, and I think it's the oldest combat ship still in service. But I digress. There's a YouTuber who has a interesting video about World War II ships still active. I will find it and link it in the description for you. And finally, the last is the 176th Oceanographic Division, operating 3 ocean survey vessels. So there you have it. That is Russia's Black Sea Fleet. Thanks for listening and take